There is a chill in the air. Winter has arrived. It might be getting cold and windy outside, but that's no reason to hibernate until spring. There is a renaissance taking place in the sport of ice fishing that is totally revolutionizing the way people think about ice fishing. It's all new, it's all fun, and it's inspiring many to get out and enjoy winter. In the next 30 minutes, you'll have access to some of the best fishing minds in the ice fishing world who have totally redefined this popular sport. Join Tom Zanenko, author, lecturer, and tournament champion, as he shows you the modern ice fishing revolution on Vexilar's Ice Fishing Today. Ice Fishing Today is a unique program linked to the World Wide Web, allowing you to learn even more ice fishing secrets that will double your fishing success. Don't go away. An exciting edition of Ice Fishing Today is coming your way.
Hi, I'm Tom Zanenko, your host for Ice Fishing Today. You know, ice fishing is one of the fastest growing winter activities, and it should be. The gear and tackle necessary to go ice fishing has made it more comfortable and more productive than ever before. Now, in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you some tips and tactics to make ice fishing not only fun and enjoyable for the entire family, but I'll double your ice fishing success. Now, first, let me tell you a little bit about Ice Fishing Today. This is the first program that is totally integrated to the World Wide Web. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, from time to time, you'll see pop up on the screen, icefishingtoday.com. That means there is a corresponding extra segment available for you to watch on the web. When we film a show like this, it may take several hours to film it, but we're only able to show you 30 minutes of it on air. So what we do is we have all the extra segments, a lot more insightful information available on the web for you to watch. So there's a lot of great fishing coming up, but we'll start right after these messages.
Hey, do you want to double your ice fishing success? There's one word that'll make you a better fisherman, and that word is Vexilar. A Vexilar stands alone as your single biggest advantage to double your fishing success. Check out the classic FL8 and FL18 and the all-new FL12 and FL20. Vexilar's live action, 3-color sonar leads the world in reliability and performance. I'm Dave Gans, and I won't go fishing without my Vexilar. Check out Vexilar.com.
The Jason Mitchell Elite Series ice rods and ice rod combos are the highest quality commercially made rods on the ice. Application-specific rods that enable you to master specific presentations. This extensive lineup of ice rods combine cutting-edge design features and technology with old-school craftsmanship. Built on experience with input from some of the most seasoned guides and accomplished professional anglers on the ice. The Jason Mitchell Elite Series, endorsed by Ice Team.
You know, I've been ice fishing for over 40 years now, and I tell you, technology has come a long way. You know, augers are great because they take a lot of the work out of it. Of course, goodness gracious, today with the ice almost 2 feet thick, it's nice to have one of these things. Safety has gotten a lot better. We're able to watch. That's 2 feet of ice, folks. And I did that in, what, 10 seconds or so? Again, drilling holes, no problem with technology. But you know, when I talk about ice fishing, a lot of people don't understand that for many, many years, I'm talking maybe hundreds of years, the advancements of ice fishing were very minimal. And popularity actually wasn't that great either. It was always so cold and the clothing was not that good. And if you went out ice fishing, well, it was kind of like grumpy old men where people would always sit there and say, look at those guys, crazy to be out there ice fishing. Well, I'm sorry, folks, but ice fishing has come a long way since grumpy old men days. I would say about 20 years ago, there was a tipping point in the world of ice fishing. And what I mean by that is that there was a time in the late 80s where sonar systems, in particular the Vexilar, was first kind of discovered for the use while ice fishing. And what this meant was, for the first time, ice fishermen were able to look down the hole and see if there were fish there. The evolution of that concept meant that now, for the very first time, you were able to drop lures down and see how the fish reacted. If the fish didn't react right, you adapted. The evolution of that was new fancy high-tech graphite rods, a 2-pound test line, tiny little microscopic hooks, were all the evolution of the Vexilar. So the Vexilar was kind of the tipping point. it was the reason why ice fishing kind of has evolved the way it has. It has suddenly shot up in popularity, shot up in success ratio, shot up in technology, because now we have a better understanding of what's going on underneath the ice. Now, Vexilar has been around for many, many years. It's a common name among sportsmen. They started back in, I think, 1960s or so, and they were the first pioneers in sonar. They were the guys who developed the first paper graph. Now, the paper graph really got popular on Lake Michigan, and Vexilar was the #1 sonar system in the 70s for paper graphs. And a lot of people don't realize this, but Vexilar was the very first company to develop a liquid crystal sonar. Everyone sees these Lowrance and Humminbird units out there, but actually it was Vexilar who developed the very first liquid crystal. And they were the first to develop a CRT display as well for the fishermen. Vexilar has been on the cutting edge, and it was in the late 80s where Vexilar discovered that the real-time response and the unbelievable cold weather performance of a Vexilar, because this unit is capable of working at 30 or 40 below zero in real time as it happens. They've continued to perfect the technology with advancements to the unit to allow you to see and catch more fish than ever before. So at least I'm a big fan of the Vexilar. I know a lot of people say they'd never go fishing without one. Let me show you a little bit about how it works. First off here, I'm gonna clean out a little bit of the ice. The Vexilar has two very important parts, the head of the unit and a thing called the transducer. Now, this transducer was designed by Vexilar to be a self-leveling transducer, which means when you put it down the hole, it bobs around and then it shoots straight down the hole. Now, 20 years ago, they used to use a little arm that used to stick a formal transducer down, and they had a level on top of the transducer. Nowadays, it's a self-leveling transducer. Works really good. We're just going to plop this baby down the hole. Now, the transducer both sends and receives the signals down below. Now, I think the camera should be able to see this, but all I'm going to do is adjust the unit, and I'm going to turn the gain down to 0, which is the top knob, and I'm just going to turn the knob over here like this, and it's going to show me how deep of water I'm in. In this case, I'm in about 18 feet of water. You read the screen real simple. Always lights up at 0, then you go around the dial, and it lights up again where bottom is. So I'm at 15, 16, 17, about 18 feet. Real simple to operate. And if I turn up the gain, which is this control knob here, it increases the listening area underneath me. A lot of fishermen call it the cone. Well, the cone, it really isn't shaped like a cone. It's a big sonar blob, basically. And as I open up the gain, it allows me to see more information and see if there's more fish around me. But I want to keep it as low as possible to give me the best resolution directly below me. Now, let me show you what I'm going to use to catch these fish. This is kind of fun. This is a $5 rig that I got here. Now, not that I don't use the fancy stuff. I'm doing this just to dramatize a little bit of a point here. You see, it's the Vexilar that created the advancement of new tactics, not the other way around. You see, all I need is a stick and a string and a hook, and I'll show you how to catch fish with it. Now here, I'm going to put on a couple of maggots. I don't know if the camera can come in here and see this. I don't know how close we can get in here to see that. I don't need a lot of bait on here. I'm just going to hook a couple on. If you go to icefishingtoday.com, you'll learn more about the tactics of the types of baits we use. I'll get more into that later. But basically now I'm just going to plop that guy down the hole and start feeding out my line. One of the biggest things that people wonder is, where is my bait and where are the fish? Well, with a Vexilar, you know exactly where your bait is and where the fish are at all times. Now, I'm going to turn up the gain here a little bit. There's my bait right there at 5 feet. There it is, see it? See, as my bait's going down, I'm just going to continue to feed out line. I want my lure to be just a green mark, because then if a fish comes in, it'll show up as usually a brighter color because it's a little bit bigger target down there. And here we go. And we'll get down. Now what I normally like to do is to stop the bait way above the targets to see if I can get somebody to come up. And oh, see that green target? Oh, it turned red. There's a fish chasing my bait. Look, there's a couple of fish. Now I'm purposely keeping the bait way up above them to see how far I can get them to chase it. I don't know if they can see that all right. You can see that? That is so cool. Now see, normally you'd never know if there was a fish down there or not, but with a Vexilar, I'm now playing games, like cat and mouse games, with a fish 15 feet below me. I'm jiggling it. Come on, fishy. Come on, fish. Hello, fishy. Come on, fishy. Look at that. He won't come up any higher. So what I'm going to do is drop down, and I'm going to drop down to where these other fish are. These are actually two fish, folks, here. This is like a video game, so to speak, because these are actually fish targets. And they're actually looking around at my bait. See, my bait is the one that I'm popping up and down. See, that's my bait being popped up and down. Oh, here comes fish. Here comes a fish. Now I'm going to stop. See if he reacts to it. Oh, I've lined it up. The fish came up out of the school. Look at that. They came up out of the school, and there's a whole bunch of them left down there. I mean, the ability to see underwater with your Vexilar allows you to keep your bait in front of the fish, where you can start catching them one right after another. It's an amazing machine that is really spawned what modern day ice fishing is today. And I'm going back down again. This is quite the process. As you can see, why a lot of guys develop putting rods and reels on their, and they even stop using bobbers nowadays with little strike indicators, because you go up and down so much. Now watch this. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to go down again. Same spot. I'm going to jiggle like crazy until I can get one of these fish to come up out of the school. Oh, here they come. Here they come. The red line is going to meet up with mine, and I got another one. I mean, this is great. This is great. How many times I do TV shows and the fish never bite. Oh, that's a beautiful red one there. I think I'm going to have him for supper tonight. All right, we go back down again. Again, it's a routine, it's a system, it's a consistent way of doing it. You organize yourself, the transducer set up, the fish are waiting down there. You just go down and up, down and up, down and up. A lot of people would laugh when you say, I catch 100 fish a day. You know, you obviously follow the limits, but people say, how can you catch 100 fish a day through the ice? With a Vexilar, it's easy. Here comes another one. I'm going to jiggle it like crazy. I'm going to jiggle, jiggle. Here comes some fish. Oh, here he comes, charging the bait. The red goes right on top of my green. Oh, there we go. When the red line lines up with your green line, which happens to be your bait, you catch yourself a nice little bluegill.
Visit icefishingtoday.com.
Hi everyone, hey, it's ice fishing time, but let's take a look at ice fishing conditions, meaning the thickness of the ice. But did you know that just because there's ice in one area that's something of, just say 10 inches, but you go 20 more feet, it could be 2 inches. So it's never uniform, and what affects that? It can be wind condition, again, current condition, the snow cover, which becomes an insulation blanket. So these are just ingredients that we really need to watch. Generally speaking, 3 inches to walk on, 4 inches for ice fishermen, 6 to 7 inches for a four-wheeler, for instance, a snowmobile, and 9 inches for light vehicles to drive on. And if you have a heavier vehicle or a wheelhouse or a skid house, at least 12 inches to 14 inches. It's just common sense. If we pay attention to that, we're going to do very, very well fishing and catching those fish. If you want more ice fishing safety tips, please go to icefishingtoday.com. Have a great time on the ice.
To be really effective using a Vexilar means you really want to understand speed and organization. You want to get down, get up very easily. You want to make sure that you get on those fish. One of the big advantages you have with a Vexilar is you have the unfair advantage of knowing there's more fish down there to be caught. Now again, here's my bait going down. A green signal is a weak signal. Now my lure in this case is a green signal with a little bit of orange to it, but that's all right. As it gets stronger, it goes from green to orange to red. The strongest signals will be red, which could be a fish directly below me, or it could be the bottom. In this case, hopefully it's a great big bluegill. All right, here we go down. As the bait goes down, I'm approaching the area where the fish are. Here's one green line where the fish are. Now that might be a fish that could come to me, might not be. Now I'm just going to jiggle a little bit here. Look at that fish. He's lighting up. You can see how, oh, look how excited he's getting. He's charged my bait. Is he going to eat it? Oh, there he is. He grabbed it. Oh, I love fish with a good attitude. Usually those are the small ones. That's a little guy. You know, there's a lot bigger fish sometimes found in the shallow weeds. And one of the best ice fishermen in the entire country, Tommy George, will tell you how he catches monster bluegill from the shallow weed beds with a Vexilar right after this.
Hi, I'm Butch Furtman. You know how great the Vexilar flasher works in the wintertime. Why not use it in the summer? By simply getting a kit from Vexilar with a high-speed transducer, brackets, everything ready to go, you'll be able to use this great unit even in the summer.
Check out the TK kits for your system. A transducer kit comes with everything you need to mount your Vexilar in your boat. Ask your retailer for the location of the Vexilar accessories, or you can order right now from icefishingtoday.com. Want to double your ice fishing success? It's easy. Just check out icefishingtoday.com. No, you don't have to pay anything or sign up to become a member. You just need to have the desire to catch more fish and have fun doing it. Icefishingtoday.com is like no other fishing website because it's driven by informative video clips. As an extra bonus, you'll be able to purchase some hard-to-find ice fishing products directly from the IFT website. So start catching more fish this season, thanks to icefishingtoday.com.
To learn how we caught all these fish today, log on to icefishingtoday.com.
Welcome back to Ice Fishing Today. Now in this segment, I get a chance to fish with one of my very best friends, Tommy George from St. Paul, Minnesota. Now Tommy is part of the legendary George clan. Now the Georges have been fishing throughout all of Minnesota and have become true pioneers in modern ice fishing tactics. In fact, Tom George is one of the experts at shallow water weed fishing, and Tom has used, and I guess has perfected the art, of using a Vexilar inside the weeds. Tom, how'd that all come about?
Well, Tom, as you know, fish like the weeds. You're always going to catch fish in the weeds, summer and winter. Your clear water lakes, your clearer water, will have better weed lines to them, and it's easy to fish these lakes. But I found out that these fish spook real easy in the weeds because you're fishing basically shallow stuff. 12 feet. We're fishing 12 to 13 feet here with the weeds, and these fish will spook if you sit over the hole too much. Plus headaches, neck aches sometimes, or back aches. But the fact is this Vexilar unit has absolutely made it so much easier for me to catch fish in weeds, and they've got a special feature on the Vexilar units. It's called a low power mode, and what you do is when you're in shallower water, in your weeds, the whole screen is all red and it's hard to see your bait and fish. So you turn this low power mode on, and it cuts the power in half, which enables the unit to see right through these weeds. And it's helped me tremendously in my success as far as catching fish. Most people will complain that when you're fishing weeds with a Vexilar, that it just clutters the whole screen with solid red. You can't see your fish, you can't see your bait. And that's the beauty of using these Vexilars, is watching your bait go down, watching a fish come in. So with this new feature that they have, you put it on low power mode, and it cuts the weeds right out. And you can still see your jig, and we'll demonstrate that in a little bit. And you'll still see your jig, and you can still see a fish come in. So now you can fish these weeds where these fish are, and you'll be more successful.
Well, Tommy, show me how you set up your Vexilar for fishing in the weeds.
Well, Tom, as you can see, we're fishing in 12 feet of water, and you can see my jig. But if I put it on the normal mode, it's just solid red, and I can't really see in past these weeds. I can't really see my jig.
So the weeds come all the way up to like 3 foot.
Correct.
Below the ice is 3 foot, and then there's 9 feet of weeds.
Of weeds, correct. And it's amazing what this low power mode does. It's just as you can see, you turn it on low power, and now the weeds are gone, and now you can still see my jig. My jig is green. I like to always have enough power just to have my jig or my lure green. So when a fish does come in, you'll still see fish in these weeds, and it'll come bright red, and you'll see that fish come right in, just like you're fishing outside the weeds.
Now, when I see you fishing here, do you normally like to fish high in the weed column, in the middle, on the bottom? Whereabouts in the weed column would you normally fish? High, low? What's the secret to fishing in the weeds?
Over the years, I've found out that about halfway down, if I'm fishing in 12 feet of water, I like to fish 6-7 feet down, approximately half. but the fish will kind of dictate that to you. You know, you try the whole column, but I've had my best success about halfway up, and it's just they just cruising in the weeds, and it makes a big difference.
Wow.
I've done my best.
Well, folks, we're going to show you Tommy George in action catching some of these monster bluegills here in the weeds in just a few minutes. But let me tell you, ice fishing today, like I've said before, and I'm going to keep repeating it, it's one of the first programs of its type. And the web, if you go to icefishingtoday.com, you'll be able to see Tommy George actually clean and prepare a meal of bluegills. Now, the Georges are legendary chefs, and we're really looking forward to it because we have the legendary Bluegill Bill Erickson, and he's going to judge which one of your fish recipes is the best. So, folks, if you go to icefishingtoday.com, you'll be able to see this inside perspective of today's fishing trip. Let's get back to fishing. This is the Vexilar FL8 SE. This is the world's most popular 3-color flasher. You simply cannot go wrong with this little bit of technology. It is literally bulletproof. The unit comes with a 19-degree ice deucer as a standard option. The Vexilar FL8 SE has a 10-step interference rejection and 6 different range settings. It is without a doubt one of the most versatile pieces of sonar you will ever use. For Ice Fishing Today, I'm Tom Zanenko.
Well, let's get started.
One of the keys to Tommy's success in shallow water is to pre-drill a large number of holes in the area that he wants to fish. Now, it might take as long as 15 minutes for the fish in super shallow water to move back below the hole to feed, so pre-drilling is a good idea.
And this new drill it's amazing. It's a 6-inch drill, and it goes. I can get 15, 20 holes out of this one battery. And it's amazing how easy and how light it is. It's extremely light, and there's no gas to mess with, no fumes, no noise, and it's basically going to be the wave of the future.
Tommy is using a special Kluge drill adapter mounted on a 6-inch StrikeMaster laser auger. If you'd like to purchase what many say is the strongest and safest electric drill attachment, you can purchase one only from icefishingtoday.com.
I'm getting pretty anxious to get down there. Oh, I missed him. You missed him too, but that's all right. Let's see if he'll come back. He'll probably come back. Here he comes. There he comes. He's right on it. These things really are a true mood indicator. They really are. You can really tell how aggressive these fish are. If they're on a real heavy bite, or if they're just real negative mooded. There he is. Probably a northern again. No. Nice gill. Not bad. He'll eat real good. Here's what I'm using. Just a little fat boy with a wax worm on it. And one thing I always make sure I do, when you get a bite, it'll pull that line down so then the jig is sitting vertical. What I want to do is always pull it up, so when it sits horizontal. So when I fish it's the hookup percentage is much better when you hook that jig, or when you pull your line to the middle of that hook. And I love horizontal jigs, and the percentage of hookups are better. Let's see if we can get another one.
I can see him on the Vexilar. I'm just not moving. There he is. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's a whopper. Tommy, I thought you said all the fish in these weeds were big. He catches this little one. I think these fish know when Tommy George is around. Now, Tommy, when you're fishing like that, do you always keep the jig moving?
Always. I hardly ever stop, Tom. Sometimes, you know, if I keep jigging it, Like this morning, I kept jigging it. The fish just sat 2 to 3 inches away, and then I stopped. I stopped it dead, and then he came in and ate it. So once you bring them in, if they don't bite it, then I'll just stop the jig sometimes and just watch the tip. Here he is. I'll see that. Here's my bait right here. There's the fish. Let's see if we can get him to go. There he is. Whoa. Yeah. Another nice gill. And that does catch him. We'll be right back with more ice fishing today right after this.
Here's the hottest lure on ice, the amazing Salmo Chubby Darter. It swims, it darts, it drives fish crazy. Best of all, you don't need live bait. The Salmo Chubby Darter comes in 4 sizes. The number 6 for pike and lake trout, the number 5 and number 4 for walleye, and the number 3 for perch and panfish. Every Salmo lure is backed with a lifetime performance guarantee. To learn more about the Salmo Chubby Darter, visit our website at salmofishing.com. Want to double your ice fishing success? It's easy. Just check out icefishingtoday.com. No, you don't have to pay anything or sign up to become a member. You just need to have the desire to catch more fish and have fun doing it. Icefishingtoday.com is like no other fishing website because it's driven by informative video clips. As an extra bonus, you'll be able to purchase some hard-to-find ice fishing products directly from the IFT website. So start catching more fish this season, thanks to icefishingtoday.com.
Boy, we sure had a great day catching fish. The use of a Vexilar and catching these big bluegills in deep water or in shallow water like Tommy George just did shows you that a Vexilar can make all the difference in the world. Now remember, go to icefishingtoday.com. If you go there, you'll see a lot of extra segments that we shot in today's show that we weren't able to air because we just didn't have enough time. And I tell you, we caught a lot of nice fish that you didn't see today. So check us out online at icefishingtoday.com. Till next time, I'm Tom Zanenko. Good fishing.
Ice Fishing Today is brought to you by these fine sponsors. To learn more about today's show or discover more about the great sport of ice fishing, be sure to check out icefishingtoday.com.